So, greeting friends. We are learning lesson 2 Real Estate Investment Trust of Module 3, Paper 7 Professional Program Corporate Funding and Listing in Stock Exchanges from Institute's study material. Till now, what we have learned is that Real Estate Investment Trust has first been launched in the USA in the year 1960s. The India SEBI introduced real estate mutual fund based on the recommendation of AMFI committee. Resolution first time draft regulation with reference to real estate investment trust was introduced in 2008 and then reintroduced for comment of public in 2013. Thereafter, SEBI Real Estate Investment Trust Regulation 2014 was notified on 29 September 2014. It is a trust registered under the Indian Trust Act 1882 and its listing is mandatory. There are sponsor group, redesignated sponsor, manager, trustee. These are the partners, and trustee should not be related or associated with this sponsor, manager, principal valuers. There is a requirement of holding 5% minimum of units for each of the sponsor. Collectively, they should hold 25% for a period not less than 3 years from the date of listing. A sponsor or a sponsor group together at all times of REIT should hold at least 15% of its unit. For investment, REIT is supposed to invest 80% of its asset in completed and revenue generating properties. Remaining 20% they can invest it in developing properties, mortgage backed securities, government securities, unutilized FSIs, TDR, money instrument, etc. Valuation is to be done half yearly basis and NAV is to be declared 15 days from the date of valuation or updation. 90% of the net distributable income after tax to be distributed at least half yearly basis and not within 15 days of the half year. The RETs can invest in directly or through SPV, wherein it holds at least 80% of their asset controlling stake. 80% of that SAV should hold asset directly in such properties, and SPV should be controlled by REIT. Initial offer size should be at least 250 crores. Minimum subscription is 50,000 rupees, whether it is by way of initial offer, follow-on offer, right issues, QIP. For all these things, 50,000 minimum investment is required from a unit holder, and IPO should be offered for value not less than 25% of unit on post issue basis. Less than 25% is permissible subject to certain condition given in 14A regulation of the regulation 14 2A of the RET regulation 2014. Then 100 units is the minimum unit that needs to be traded once it is listed in the stock exchange, designated stock exchange. There is a limit for aggregate of borrowing a deferred payment liability of RET, that is cannot exceed 49%. Individually they can exceed 25% subject to approval of unit holder. Applicant for being registered as a RET is required to be a sponsor, and it should be registered on behalf of the trustee. Trustees is required to be registered under the Indian Registration Act 1908, and its objective should be undertaking RET activities. Main objective is, as told, a sponsor should hold 5% and clearly identifiable in offer document as well as in the registration document or placement memorandum, whatever they issue. Net worth of a sponsor should be collectively at least 100 crore and individually 20 crores. There is a requirement of 5-year experience in relevant field of real estate management. Similarly, for manager could be a body corporate, company, or a LLP. Net worth of company should be 10 crore and net tangible asset for a LLP should be 10 crore. They should also have 5-year experience in fund management, advisory services, and property management. Manager should have 2 employees having the similar experience of 5 years in the those field. Trustee is required to be registered under the Debenture Trustee Regulation 1993. No superior right vis-a-vis other unit holder should be there, so that all unit holders should be treated equally. Inferior or subordinate unit issued to the sponsor could have inferior right. As far as the application is concerned, the application should describe the purpose of activities, RET, that is required. Then fit and proper person will be registered as RET. Fit and proper person as defined under Schedule 2 of SEBI Intermediaries Regulation 2008. Whether previous application is rejected by SEBI, this has to be disclosed. Whether their disciplinary action has been taken by SEBI or other regulatory authorities against the RET, its director, is to be declared. And then when we discussed about the issue, RET, it has been mandated that initial offer of unit should be by way of public issue only. No initial offer unless registered, that is the precondition. Value of asset owned by RET for launching an initial offer should not be less than 500, including whatever they are holding through SPV. This 500 can be complied till the time allotment is basically issued to the unit holders. Minimum number of unit holders, 200 numbers are required. At least 200 members should be the unit holder of RET. Then only they can operate. They can be listed in the stock exchange. Then unit proposed to be ordered to be offered not less than 25% of the post capital issued. If offer price is 1600 crore, less than 1600 crore. If it is from 1600 crore to 4000 crore, then it is rupees 400 crore, that is 10% of higher unit, higher amount, that is 4000 crore. And for more than 4000 crore issue, it should have 10% of the value value of post issue capital. Unit offered to sponsor, manager, and related parties, associate, not to be counted. Those will be excluded while computing the requirement of 25%, 400 crore, or 10% of the minimum requirement proposed to be offered to the public. Thereafter, we were looking at how draft of a document is to be issued. The condition for draft of a document, fees, how the comment from the public is invited, is all as done for the IPOs. You will recollect that even for IPO, these are the requirement that 30 working days before filing of a document, draft of a document is to be submitted to the designated stock exchange and SEBI through merchant banker. Then the draft of a document should be available for public comment through website of SEBI, designated stock exchange, or merchant banker, not for not less than 21 days. Then due diligence certificate signed by lead merchant banker should be submitted along with draft of a document as well as final of a document. LMB is to be ensured that comment, if any observation is made by SEBI, is incorporated and has been taken care of. The issue is required to be basically published within 1 year from the comment observation, and if no observation is made within 21 days, then RET may file the offer document directly with designated stock exchange and SEBI. Then there is a requirement that offer document should be filed at least not less than 5 working days before opening of the offer. Initial offer, follow on offer, period which is for which it is available for subscription should not be more than 30 days. Initial offer, follow-on offer, or right issue shall be made 1 year from the observation. And if this condition is not fulfilled, then they need to file a fresh draft offer document and get the same procedure as discussed above to complied with. Any person, resident or foreigner subject to the guidelines specified by RBI, can invest in REITs. Then the application which is made available should have a statement containing abridged version of offer document detailing risk factor and terms of issue. Then allotment, if there is a over subscription, allotment is to be based allotment has to be made on proportionate basis, rounded off to nearest integer as done in IPO cases. In fact, all those conditions which we have discussed right now, all are applicable for IPO as well. Then there is a requirement that if 90% of the subscription, if suppose the RET fails to collect subscription amount not exceeding 90% of fresh issue size, or number subscriber is less than 200, the minimum required unit holder for public listing, then they should refund the application money to all the applicants who has applied against the offer document. Allotment or refund is to be done within 12 working days, otherwise it will call for the interest and penalty at the rate 15% per annum. Then in case of oversubscription, RET can retain not exceeding 25% of the issue size. However, this needs to be disclosed in the offer document. This is a precondition. Price is determined or based on book building process or any other process if say SEBI, RBI has been issued circular guideline with regard to the same and in the manner as prescribed by SEBI. If the RET fails to allot or list or refund within time, as I told you, 15% per annum is the interest rate that is required to be paid to the unit holder, and such amount shall not be recovered from fees payable to the manager. 10% of the amount of the unit size could be could be appropriated towards the administrative expense, general purpose expenses which we say. And if RET fails to make IO, then within 3 years RET needs to surrender its certificate and will cease to operate. However, SEBI has been given power that this period can be extended by 1 year, and if registration is surrendered, then there is a provision that they can reapply for the registration. Offer document and advertisement, this is what the last we discussed. Offer document should contain true, correct and adequate disclosure so that informed decision is taken by the unit holder whether to invest or not to invest. And advertisement which is issued while issuing offer document should not be misleading and not extraneous to the offer document. Risk factor should be properly disclosed in terms with the SEBI guideline. Then today we'll start with listing requirement. Listing. 12 working days from the date of closure of the offer in recognized stock exchange as per the listing agreement. So once allotment is done, then there is a requirement that the units of RET should be listed on a recognized stock exchange having nationwide trading terminal within a period of 12 days from the date of closure of the offer. Non-receipt or non-receipt of listing permission or withdrawal of observation, then again as the provision for refund exists, unit shall not be eligible for listing and the amount is to be refunded with 15% interest from the date of allotment. This amount has to be paid by the RET. Then how trading is done. Mm, when it comes to trading, units are traded, cleared and settled as per the bylaws of the concerned stock exchange and condition specified by the SEBI in lots of 100 units. It is redeemed only by way of buyback or at time of delisting. If minimum public holding fails down, then it depends. SEBI or DSC can go direct for delisting or may afford an opportunity to remove the defect so that they can rectify the defect and continue listed in the stock exchange. Trustee has the responsibility to provide 6 months time to manager to rectify the defects. Holding period. For other than a sponsor, for a period, suppose a person who is not a sponsor is holding RET units prior to issue of initial offer, there is a requirement that he should hold the unit for a period not less than 1 year from the date of listing, subject to circular guidelines of the SEBI. Then last year there was a question for infrastructure investment trust in December 19 examination. What about the provision related to the delisting? Delisting provision for infrastructure investment trust was asked in last year question paper. It has the similar provision as for RET, as there has been made by for the RET. Delisting is done on, suppose the manager wants to file an application. The manager shall file an application, apply for delisting of unit of the RET to SEBI and the designated stock exchange if the following conditions are met. As there is a requirement of public holding of at least 200 unit holder or 25%. So if that public holding falls below the specified limit as prescribed in the RET regulation, then that application can be filed. If there is a no project or asset remaining under the RET for a period exceeding 6 months and RET does not propose to invest in any project, then again that application can be filed. He can apply. The period may be extended by further 6 months with the approval of unit holder in the manner as specified by the RET regulation. The stock exchange, SEBI or designated stock exchange requires a delisting for violation of listing agreement or these regulations. Then the sponsor or trustee requests such delisting and such request has been approved by the unit holder in accordance with the RET regulation. Then also manager can apply for delisting. Then SEBI and designated stock exchange also has power, and application for approval or rejection in the interest of unit holder. Suppose SEBI or designated stock exchange found that it is in the interest of public that manager should apply for delisting, then also manager has to apply, can apply in fact under the regulation. However, there is a power given to SEBI that instead of requiring delisting, if it deems fit, then may provide additional time to RET or parties to the REIT to comply with REIT regulations. SEBI has another power to reject application or take any other action he may not allow delisting but take some other application. Then procedure for exit option as per the listing agreement has to be given to all the unit holder. Then SEBI may require REIT to wind up and sell its asset in order to redeem units of unit holders for the purpose of delisting of units, and SEBI may, through circulars or guidelines, specify the manner of such winding up. After delisting, the RET is required to surrender the certificate of registration to SEBI and shall no longer take any activity of a REIT. There is a liabilities which will continue to basically based on the parties post deregistration, and whatever action they have taken prior to delisting, they will be accountable for it. So friends, I have prepared this video till delisting. I'll try to cover up the balanced points of REIT in coming two videos, and then we'll be through with REIT. My main purpose of video is to have the recapitulation each time we go through the video, so that we keep on revising, and if any question from RE comes in the next exam from REIT lesson, then we would be in a position to answer it properly. Each time I go through all the heads under which I find it important to do from point of view of examination. I discuss them so that we are all prepared whenever any question from RET asked by the institute. Once again I tell you that after this chapter I'll cover REIT vis-a-vis INVIT, Infrastructure Investment Trust, so that we have one-to-one comparison with both the regulations, and we would be better equipped to answer question from any of these two relations. Hope I'll come back soon, and we'll have learning together. Enjoy learning. Thank you.